Welcome to the Pimp My Setup highlights for episode number 139. The first setup was submitted by Joey. Knowing that this is a custom built desk, I would have liked to seen something specific towards cable management. It's okay if you don't want to wrap up the cables in Velcro or zip ties or anything like that. As long as it's put into a specific area and hidden from view, it's better than nothing. His speakers are insanely big, and because of that, I mean, they're not terrible, but look at where the mouse is in comparison to that speaker. His hand's gonna be hitting that thing. It just seems like a bit of a poor choice there. Too much on the desk, not a great spot for the MacBook. Even though you're plugging it into a monitor, you still want to have that usability to take it on the go. You still want to be able to open it up if you ever had to. It's just lacking a little bit in the theme department. I say it all the time. Joey scored a 76. The next setup was submitted by Jonas. One thing I am not a big fan of is when people remove the stands of their monitors and then just lay it flat. If they were two of the same ones, not the end of the world. It wouldn't look awful, but definitely the mismatching size plays a factor in that. Did you really need the PC on there? Is it life or death? You don't even have LEDs going on in there. It just doesn't seem like something you need to do. So I would like to see that PC put on the floor, center yourself with that desk. Be careful because that desk will warp. When it warps, that's no bueno. This thing can snap and everything on that desktop will just be dropped to the floor, and that means it could break, whatever the case may be. Regardless, you don't want things dropping. So I definitely think you need to reinforce that with another leg. If anything, you have to buy a new tabletop. Jonas scored an 82. The next setup was submitted by Railay. Rip your crotch? I mean, I don't get it. I don't know why this is the only reason why I think he put himself there is because his monitors would not fit on the left or right had he centered himself to that desk. Why is the PC there? Get rid of the PC, slide yourself over to that right side, and sit there. Sit in the damn middle of the desk, and you'll be fine. I don't understand the thought process behind this. And then that spot where that left monitor is for your triple monitor setup, that's where your console screen can go. That's where the console everything can go. Like that's your console section. The right side's your PC section. Railay scored a 70. The next setup was submitted by Travis. Light switches. One's off, one's on. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I would take the plates off and just paint it white. I mean, along with the outlet on the bottom, that's also beige. Little things to really take it to the next level. And I know you're willing to do that because that cable that's going into the outlet, it's like attached to the wall very, very nicely. Your cable management is outstanding. Out of sight, out of mind. Not that he got a terrible score, but things that I would recommend is like maybe possibly getting something that can go on the bottom left side or something to that extent that can hold the Xbox so it's not taking up too much desk space. Travis scored a 94. The next setup was submitted by Gregor. Speakers, you don't need the rear speakers there. That's not how that works. I think the desk looks old. It's not awful. I guess maybe I was expecting a black desk for what he's working with. All the stuff that he has on the wall. I mean, that's dope, that Call of Duty thing. If you're a huge fan, it's like a huge ass poster. Awesome, but I think the walls are just completely random, way too full. Gregor scored a 64. The next setup was submitted by Marc. Looking at that one part of the desk, that's where I had a little bit of an issue. I think it's really just a TV on the left side. It's too big and it looks out of place because it is in such a tight, cramped spot. If anything, I would expect that PC to be where the TV is, and then like the TV would just be mounted above, or it would be the primary display, and then that smaller one could be kind of like above as well, wherever he thought would make more sense. So the walls are a bit cramped. It's hard to see with the way your setup is. It would make more sense to put the TV dead center, put the smaller one above tilted down, and then have the shelves relocated. Marc scored an 84. The next setup was submitted by Eric, 20 years old, and he was really, I mean, honestly, and I usually don't say this, but I think he's a dick. He submitted to the show Pimp My Setup the idea behind Pimp My Setup is people that don't think they have the best setup ever, or just think that they want to improve their setup, are going to look for feedback. They're like, hi, I like my setup, but what can I do to make it better? Eric said, I'm not looking for improvements. I just want to show off. And then in his follow-up updated, because again, this is an updated photo, he said, I'm pissed at how long it's taken to get on the show. I don't know what he's trying to show off because it's a shitty setup. First off, wire management is just a shit show. We got cables going left and right coming out of the PC like crazy, laying on the floor. He's got dildo speakers, and one of which is hidden behind his secondary display. What? I don't know. Like everything he's got going on here is just very confusing. The monitor arrangement's just stupid. It needs to be touching at least. The placement of your peripherals also doesn't seem to make any sense. Eric scored a 0 because he's a dick. The final setup was submitted by Andy. Thinking of things I don't like, this is what's exciting. It's hard to find things that I don't like. Speaker placement, I think it's revolutionary because he did not cover his secondary speaker. And yeah, I just think it's a really awesome setup. It's straight to the point. It works. It's not that it has a wow factor necessarily. I think it has a very calming and modern feel to it. Andy scored a 92. Travis walked away with first place, getting a 94. Thanks for watching the Pimp My Setup highlights for episode number 139.